All right, these finals. Oh man, I gotta say, this was one of the best finals in a long time. Just as far as the hype train was concerned, this final was lit. It was great. It was the last game. All right, listen, the last game was absolutely insane. You guys gotta watch this till the end. You gotta see this last game. There's a lot of back and forth, and God, talk about some top decks, man. It was just really good to see. Really fun to cast. So we have Random7HS versus 7xBane, who we saw bring a pretty unique lineup. Has the Swain Sejuani deck, deep deck, and then also the Green Glade. We're just gonna call it the Green Glade Elder deck. And you know, the Green Glade Elder might not have paid off in previous matches, but whew, like I said, you guys got to watch this entire thing because this is pretty nuts. And again, Random running Turbo Deep, Spooky Karma, which we're going to see, and Fiora Garen, another pretty typical deck. So, guys, when I say this game was exciting to cast, I am not lying. This was absolutely awesome. Good to see. Top decks back and forth. We don't know who's going to win until the very last turn of the game. This shit was on fire. So let's get into the finals of Duels of Runeterra, number 14, Random7HS versus 7xBane.
All right, Sumo has confirmed that it's health services, so Random 7 health services.
And I like Random too. He says we will find out who the best 7 is because there is a 7 in his opponent's name as well. 7xBane. So yeah, battle of the 7s. Yatsuba, not yet. Yep, it looks like it did actually. So woo, we're going into the game.
Oh boy.
Hello.
I love watching Legends of Runeterra. Okay, we're getting started off with the Spooky Karma. Random's getting this one out of the way. I don't know. Well, actually, yeah, this is probably going to be fine against something like the Swain Sejuani. The problem that he's going to run into is he can't play with his life total as carelessly as he was able to in other matchups. One thing that you do really have to watch is the break point of how much burn can my opponent throw at me. And as we had mentioned, the last time we saw this deck, 7xBane is running 3 copies of Noxian Fervor, which is a card that we've seen cut from pretty much every other Swain list at this point. He's really the only one running it. And the only units he has that survives it are Leviathan, Swain, and Sejuani themselves.
All right, we have confirmation. It's Hearthstone.
What does it stand for?
It's Hearthstone.
It's Hearthstone?
Yep, it's Hearthstone.
He could have made up something. He could have made up anything.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping he would troll me a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
I was hoping he would say, like, Helium Submarine.
I like the... Wait, hold on. I'm going to butcher this. Hydradenitis suppurativa. I don't know, man. That is not getting added to our vocab list. I refuse to add that to our vocab list.
Is there anything for me to... I've got my sticky note ready. Is there anything for me to even keep track of in this matchup? I guess Sejuani level? Swain level? Yeah, I guess that's 3 out of 12 for the Swain, 1 out of 5 for the... I'm going to get lost here.
Dude, has there ever been a game so far that we've cast today with your sticky notes that you've actually kept track the entire game and not lost track?
Yeah, there were a couple. It just didn't really matter because the thing never came up again, so I never got to talk about it.
Oh, sure. Okay, Boulevard.
I can't believe you would doubt me on this. I wouldn't waste my good sticky notes on this.
All right, so we see the Death's Hand come out on the hapless aristocrat here.
And Death's Hand, damn, getting started quick. That's a halfway leveled Swain.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing with this Sejuani. Every Sejuani Swain deck that I've seen, anyways, generally can level the Swain or the Sejuani incredibly fast. Okay, here we go. Hydradenitis suppurativa. That was actually really good phonetic spelling. I gotta give you credit, Meta World.
It's a flying submarine, the Helium Submarine.
Is that what that is? I don't know.
It's called a hot air balloon most of the time, but...
That's what that means?
Well, submarine, I believe, literally means underwater. So, probably not.
I could, dude. At this point, somebody could completely troll me and say that means God knows what, and I would just believe it, so I don't even know.
So the Avalanche is going to level the Swain. That was fast. Why did I even bother keeping track? Okay, that was easy. But it does mean we're going to take a free Thresh hit. He did get the draw, which isn't nothing. But, you know. Oh, the Culling Strike even going to take this one out. No deny available for Random 7, who, I mean, hasn't found a Karma, but has a lot of stall tactics here. Concussive Palm, we had mentioned a lot, is a very effective tool against the Swain himself, but we're not seeing a whole lot to deal with the Leviathan once the Vengeance come out. Vengeance is going to happen on the first Leviathan. That second Leviathan going to be a little bit harder to get rid of. Oh, and there's just Swain #1 just coming straight out. That's probably going to have to eat the Concussive Palm. I think you do need to save this Vengeance for Leviathans. You don't have a whole lot that you can deal with that.
Wow, yeah, this is super early Swain. Probably one of the earliest leveled Swains I've seen in a real long time. But does have a Thresh on the side of Random to deal with some of the aggression. We'll see if it is able to help with this Swain here. It looks like there is a Vengeance in hand as well. So does he just end up straight up throwing the Vengeance out this turn?
I don't think you can afford to. That's really your only answer to Leviathan, I think. Unless you can get out... It would take a Karma and like a Grasp and a Vile Feast, or like 2 Karmas and a Grasp of the Undying. Like, it's just a little bit too much of a commitment, especially when you don't have the Karma available to you yet.
It's so funny, like, how many times, I think every time we've been in any game with a Leviathan, it always comes down to, are you going to have a way to kill the Leviathan? If you lose your options to kill the Leviathan, you kind of like are conceding the game, just because if the Leviathan does hit the board, it's just so massive and just does so much towards winning the game. It's going to be impossible to come back from that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of the Swain decks in general, is how difficult the Leviathan actually is for a lot of decks to deal with, especially the Demacia decks that we're seeing overwhelmingly bringing out copies of Concerted Strike and Single Combat. When you pair it into a deck with the Sejuani that has the Frostbite potential to take those kinds of spells off the table. Not going to come up big in a matchup like this. Swain gets a lot more done in this matchup than Sejuani does, because it can stun out the blockers, and we've seen these Hapless Aristocrat walls work out really well for Random in previous games. And this is actually one of the more fast-paced games that we've seen Random have to play with this Karma deck so far.
Yeah,
I almost said Karma Ezreal instinctively.
Yeah, it's like basically, I trust me, I feel that.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, so we see the Vile Feast come out. It's gonna give some souls over to Thresh there for his Lantern, and we're going to see what 7xBane decides to do now with sitting on 10 mana. And yep, there's the early Leviathan, probably going to see the Vengeance. Exactly what we were just thinking. And the issue is there is still a Swain to deal with. The other issue for the side of 7x, though, is we're encroaching on turn 9 here. Is there even a way that he wins the game if this just goes further?
Swain Sejuani, historically, I was actually about to say, has a problem with Ruination. You're kind of like a Bannerman deck in that regard. You don't maintain cards super well. You're really just kind of tempoing out your opponent and killing them quickly. And decks like that don't do well against Ruination. And Random 7 isn't really going to care. All right, he'll fire off these Ruinations willy-nilly. He doesn't care. If we see another Leviathan try to come out of Bane here, that could actually just be the end of the game with this Ruination. He still has the tools to deal with a Swain.
Yeah, this Ruination is going to be pretty nasty if he does eventually get it off. I imagine Random's going to wait until 7x decides to commit a little bit more to the board here. I got to say, like, so, all right, have you actually seen a matchup against Spooky Karma where it's like past turn 10, you're in the depths of the game, and the deck that's not Spooky Karma actually finds a way to win? Like, what win conditions are there versus Spooky Karma late in the game?
They don't find a Karma and actually don't maintain cards super well. For example, look at 7xBane's board right now. If the Ruination wasn't here, or if you were playing a kind of deck where you could stop this Ruination with a Deny or something like that, how does Random actually get card advantage? It's going to take multiple spells to kill any of these. You're going to have to string together a couple of things. He's got the Concussive Palms. Those are pretty good, as they're not -1s like the Steel Tempests are. But overall, like, there is an option to actually grind out your opponent if they can't get to the Karma. That's just kind of a big ask, and we don't see people play towards that win condition a lot because it's not something that you can actually control.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's something that's very unlikely to happen, right? Like, you have Thresh. You have ways of getting the Karma out earlier, too. We see another Thresh in Random's hand here. I doubt it's going to hit the board anytime soon just because of this Ruination. If he does start to summon more things, he's just never really going to get this Ruination off, so he'd rather 7x commit more to the field, go ahead, trade stuff with these Emerald Awakeners here, and we do see another Leviathan hit. This is going to force out the Ruination.
Yeah, I think Leviathan is what you were waiting for the Ruination, and you weren't really pressured to do it any time before that. These Emerald Awakeners are playing into 7xBane's board extremely well, and because Leviathan is such a heavy mana commitment, 7xBane can't redevelop. Now is where 7xBane has to find a little bit of a window to redevelop, and Random's just kind of waiting for, a Karma or another Ruination, a Vengeance. He does have Concussive Palm to deal with this Swain. And we're already down 2 Leviathans, but there is a window for Bane to find that 3rd Leviathan before Random actually finds an answer for it. He has the Will of Ionia currently, and I don't even think he's going to fire that off immediately necessarily. He can take a little bit of damage from that and not feel bad about it. We're going to see the Calling Strikes. Bane is doing what he has to do. He's trying to get as aggressive with this Swain as possible. It's just a difficult thing to do, and this is what I meant about grinding him out.
So why not deny the Culling Strike there?
Because you had a different answer. And I don't think that Thresh is ever leveling.
Okay, I got to agree. I don't think the Thresh is ever leveling. I'm just trying to think, like, what do you actually deny on the side of Random7HS? I feel like Culling Strike is one of the better deny targets. I guess you could save it for a Noxian Guillotine if he tries to go for, a huge swing with a Noxian Guillotine.
I don't think you have a good setup for the Noxian Guillotine, though, do you? I guess like
7X. Yeah, I mean, there's no. That's what I'm saying. Like, is there really ever a great deny target? I don't think so. So saving something that could possibly get a Karma out early, I think might make sense. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't really think it matters. It's a very micro decision in what's going to be probably a much longer game.
You probably have to save it for something that kills your Karma because you haven't found one yet, and you don't have any Rekindlers. That Karma is very precious to you.
Yep, and we're seeing some more stuns come out. Oh, yeah, gotta love it. We are going to see some damage come through, a little bit anyways, from the side of this Sejuani with the Overwhelm. Gonna put Random down to a solid 13 life, but, man, all he needs, he's 1 Karma away from basically just completely wrecking in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
Nope.
Karma with over a couple of turns with how many Withering Wails you have.
And there it is. And there it is. And
it doesn't get the most immediate value, right? Like, a lot of the spells in your hand actually don't do much from getting doubled up. Yes, the life gain from the Withering Wail is big, but the 2 damage doesn't represent a whole lot on its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is why I do like saving the deny. So now you're basically just, saving it for protecting your Karma. And
yeah, and you deny the Death's Hand because you're setting up for a Ravenous Flock.
Yep.
And there are likely to be more Ravenous Flocks than there are, whatever comes out after this. You'd rather just save the deny or save the damage onto the Karma. It's like, I don't remember what game it was specifically, but we saw someone deny, I think it was a Gigas, denied an Arachnoid Sentry onto his Karma so that he could stop the multiple Ravenous Flock that would be coming out after the fact.
Yeah, but we are still going to see the Noxian Fervor come down onto the Sejuani, dealing some damage to the Karma. I'd be surprised if we don't see a Flock come out and actually healing the Sejuani too, something you don't see every day, but obviously makes sense here. Wanted to keep it nice and healthy to stay on the board.
I mean, this is about as good of a hand as Bane could have asked for. Like, just finding all of his champions, finding all of his Leviathans. Has a pretty wide board. Random really only has the Will of Ionia to get something off the board.
Oh, God.
Oh, then we see. If he had drawn this in the other order, this would be such a different game.
Wow. Yeah, this I mean, he's going to live. He's going to be able to play this Rekindler. And I think, again, go down to like 1, 2, or 3 health and stabilize after that. And we'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, has to fire off the Withering Wail. As I had mentioned, I don't think this is the kind of matchup where you can play with your life total like that because there are Noxian Fervors coming out of Bane, as well as the fact that he still has Leviathan mana.
Yeah, Leviathan could definitely come down after this as well, which would be pretty big for the side of 7X. I'll be amazed if Random can actually go ahead and pull this one out here.
I think he's got an okay shot because he has the double Withering Wail.
God damn. Babbling Bjerg, yeah. And it's like...
Bjerg. I mean, that's either going to grab Sejuani or it's going to grab Leviathan, right? No other targets in the deck?
Yeah, yep. That is... well, Swain's only 4 attack. Yeah, yep. So, this might... I don't know, man. I just feel like whenever you have a level Karma on field, this Karma needs to die now. If this Karma dies now, if 7X has a way to kill it, I think you're... Oh, if this is a Flock... This is very good on the side of 7X. He might take down this Spooky Karma deck.
It's almost certainly going to be a Flock. I think Random has to respond with the Withering Wail. Clean up as much of the board as possible. Get as much life back as possible. Although the Grasp onto the Sejuani effectively does the same thing. But I think you straight up lose if you grasp the Sejuani, and Bane got a Sejuani off the Babbling Bjerg into a Fury of the North. So I like Whale a little bit better here, as well as it sets up these other things for a Whale grasp on the next turn if your Karma does die here.
If there's a Flock, though, that's just game, I think.
That's pretty darn close.
I think, Oh, come on, come on.
Well, I mean, so you block the Swain with the Rekindler, and you stun the Sejuani.
Don't tell me there's no flock. If there's no flock, I'll be a very sad boy. Yes, there's a flock. I am so anti-Spooky Karma. I just love this is so bad. I'm so biased right now.
Random doesn't lose the game here.
No, but he's a very big chance to lose it.
He's actually gonna clean up most of this.
Oh wait, is this? Oh, I don't know why I thought 7X had the attack token for some reason.
Oh, I see.
Okay, okay. Well, even so, even though he won't have it until now, he'll clean up. He can only use 2 of the grass. He's not going to be able to get rid of the Sejuani. I think this is still really good for 7X.
So my assumption is you block the Swain and you Withering Wail to kill the Swain, and then you stun the Sejuani.
All right, so he's actually prioritizing killing the Sejuani, it looks like.
He's not even killing the Sejuani.
Wait, what is he doing? This is not how you line up this
He's
block.
setting up for double grasp. No, he's not, because double grasp still, like, I thought he was setting up to grasp to kill the Swain and the Sejuani on the next turn, but Swain would live through a grasp.
I'm trying to...
I mean, I guess you just stun the Swain now, right?
I think you have to, yeah.
You can't afford to take the 7 from that.
Well, you could grasp and live as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like he is going to go that route. Going to live at 1, and that. But if you do that, then you just died in Noxian Fervor.
I'm a little confused as to why he blocked like this.
I mean, that's what we said, though, right? You make one mistake and you just lose the game on the spot. This could be that mistake out of random. And that does mean we have to watch another Spooky Karma game.
Yeah. Why'd you have to say it like that? Why do you
Because that's just that is the reality of the situation.
Oh, man. Yep. Well, it looks like we're going to get it's so crazy how he's back up to 22. This Karma deck gets back up to 20 so easily. And yeah, we're going to see a bunch of damage come through. Down to... Wow, that was weird. It like went back up to... I was like, wait a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This deck isn't that broken, right? And,
All
wow.
right, deep, man. That's not a bad start. Would have preferred a Rekindler, but...
Needs a Karma, though. I think if 7X has a Leviathan at this point, that's definitely game. If he has he's going to need a unit, I think, to actually win. Oh, man.
Yeah, random. I think random is inclined to grasp here. Otherwise, you're just grasping, palming, and like double stunning and grasping next turn. This sets you up for grasp stun.
If random actually comes back
Noxian Fervor.
it better be, there better be a Noxian Fervor. I'll be so disappointed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you. As much as I don't want to see random, play the Spooky Karma deck again, I also don't want to see it win. So it's like, I'm at odds right now. Like, do I want to see it get 3-0'd?
Chat is very fairly asking our problem with Spooky Karma. And it's just kind of a boring deck to watch. There's a lot of inaction rather than action. And it's like you play a thing, I kill the thing, you play a thing, I kill the thing, and that's not very entertaining. And once it gets down to a zero-sum game, it still takes a while for the Karma deck to actually win.
Yeah.
It's just not entertaining.
Yeah, like, and it's like a zero-sum game, right? Like, no matter what happens, we know how Karma is going to end up, and it either does what it does or it doesn't. And most of the time, it does no matter what. Like, we even saw there, it was possible. All he needed to do was draw one Karma, and he's just back into it. Yeah, and it is a skillful deck. It takes a lot of skill to play the deck. We've said multiple times that it's a very high skill level deck. You need a big brain to play it, but it's just, yeah, from a casting point of view, man, I'd rather see Sejuani Swain. So
it's fun to like sit down and analyze the plays and be like, this is how I get better at the game. But like,
yeah,
if you're like, yeah, it's Sunday night, let me chill, let me watch some action, some action. Nobody says, let me watch some in action.
Yeah, let me watch this deck just chill while it just heals back up to 20 the entire game. So we'll see if
has been playing pretty rapid fire, at least in terms of like real world time as passes and things like that. I know, like, I'm not gonna say that like a Gigas played slow or anything, but Random is playing at a breakneck pace.
Random is playing pretty fast, especially for something like this Spooky Karma deck. It's usually not a deck you want to make quick decisions with, again, because of the high skill level. So and we do see it pass back over to Random, a 7HS. We'll see if he does decide to go with the Thresh here. Yeah, I'm really curious. So we were talking about this earlier with this Demacia matchup with the Windfarer, right? Like, Is it going to be able to get kind of those dream hands and curve out well to go ahead and just win before Spooky Karma is able to stabilize? Getting this Thresh turn 5, it's not really looking like it's going to be able to do that.
I mean, we had mentioned that this was probably the best matchup that this Demacia deck was going to be able to hope for against Random's lineup, but he doesn't really find the curve that he's looking for. You know, with all of these kind of cheesy buff effects in his deck, we don't see the Greenglade Elder come down for impactful things to help them get past these breakpoints of the Grasp of the Undying and the Withering Wail in the box. Although, I think just by the virtue of the fact that 7xBane is playing 3 copies of Ranger's Resolve, he's got a pretty good shot at invalidating a fair amount of the removal out of Random until we get to this Karma turn.
And we do see the block here from the Hapless Aristocrat. Always feels good trading that with the Grizzled Rangers, so he will gladly go ahead and get that puppy off the field. Is it, well, speaking of puppy, is it a dog? No, it's a bear, right? Is it a bear or a dog? Do we
Which
know?
one?
Yeah. Wow, I am. Woo! You know, we were talking about
what animal badger bear.
Yeah, you know. Well, okay. Actually, it could be. Is it? I almost said dog though. Like it's a badger and a bear, or is it a badger or a bear?
It's a. I mean, it's a hybrid. It's a badger bear.
It is a badger.
It's a kind of
bear.
animal.
Is that an actual animal?
No. What would that even look like? How big would it be? How big do you think a badger bear is?
Pretty freaking big.
7 feet tall, armored back. Platypus tail.
Oh man.
But yeah, so far an aggressive start out of 7x, but as we had mentioned, you know, Random gets to play pretty liberally with his life total in a matchup like this. Cytheria isn't something that you can stop with any of the cards in your hand immediately, and if you go for Will of Ionia onto the Cytheria, then Garen is going to connect and he's going to level up.
Yeah, and a leveled up Thresh early on.
Garen.
And Garen as well. I don't know who wins out of that. We already see a Karma in Random's hand. You know, the Thresh could pull another Karma. I don't know, man. I think if this Thresh is able to pull another Karma, I think Random is just, he has all the tools in hand to be able to stabilize. He has plenty of heal, plenty of removal. He's got the will to go ahead and send this Garen back to hand if he decides to this turn. Yep, looks like that is going to happen. And yeah, I got to say, this is already at the point where Random has stabilized.
I mean, the Garen's not dead yet.
No.
He's going to be coming back a little bit later, but there are no single combats or concerted strikes out of 7xBane, which is something that we criticized him for in some of his earlier matches. There's absolutely no removal in this Demacia deck. Anything that gets played is going to stick. If there are multiple Karmas coming out for Random, they're just going to sit there until Random decides he's ready to block with them or doesn't need them anymore.
Yeah, and sitting on a missed call, too, which is going to feel real good if this Thresh or a Karma ends up dying. God, I love that card. It's so damn good. Draws a Vengeance, and we'll see if... I mean, now he's basically stalled out, so where if the Garen does come back down, he does have Vengeance as an option. He could also obviously go ahead and Vengeance the Cytheria if he feels like he needs to. We are going to get the Karma pulled out here, which would be able to be blocked by this Cytheria. So maybe we do see the Vengeance come out on the Cytheria here?
I think it's more likely to be Withering Wail. Oh, no, he is actually going to protect his Karma. And it looks like he's eyeing that missed call for the Thresh as well, rather than floating Spell Mana into the next turn. Ooh. There is the deny onto the Vengeance.
Damn.
I think Random is still going to be fine to fire off this missed call. You either get a Thresh or a Karma.
Yep. Yeah, and, I mean, I guess you could have argued either way for the Withering Wail or the Vengeance there. Withering Wail, I mean, with the Greenglade Elder on the field, Withering Wail gets a little bit more value. But...
and we get the Karma.
Yeah, we get the Karma. And
I think you would have preferred Thresh. Oh, but Missed Call created off the Karma. Wow. That can come in big.
Wow, that is a hell of a pull. Oh, my God. And yeah, and we have a Rekindler. See, this is the point in the game where it starts to not really matter what 7x does, because there's always going to be an answer or some sort of way in Random's hand to go ahead and just rip another Karma right onto the field.
Yeah, I think at this point there's just, if nothing else, just too many blockers on the side of Random. I mean, that Elder turned Garen into a 6/6, but all that really does is make it so that the Withering Wail is a little bit less valuable. Now I have to throw a Grasp onto this or throw out 2 Wails to actually kill the Garen as well as the rest of the board.
Now, I'm scrolling through chat, looking at some of what people are saying. You know, they're saying stuff about Spooky Karma, they're saying stuff about Demacia. I have a question for you, Boulevard.
Yeah.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer a meta that has a lot more Spooky Karma in it? or one of the metas of old where it was just a crap ton of mono Demacia, play units to the board, attack each other, and have trades.
I think Bannerman was a little bit more interesting to cast.
Yeah.
The games didn't last as long either, which was nice. Generally, we saw Bannerman mirrors ending around like turn 7.
Now, is it just because there's more combat involved? Like,
I mean, yeah, just generally somebody overwhelms the board, gets like one good trade-off, takes control of the board, and then is able to finish it out from there.
Because
Spooky Karma, I wouldn't know where to begin trying to cast a mirror match.
I think it's funny because I think like if Spooky Karma is the big brain deck, I think that Demacia is probably the little brain deck. So kind of the polar opposites there.
So it looks like Random's going to go down to 1 here. But this is... Okay, is actually just going to block the Cythria. I mean, like, this is... I mean, the other way you save health on your Thresh, which I don't know is necessarily more valuable than your life total at this point, especially because nothing on 7xBane's board is getting cleaned up super well by your Withering Wails. You would have to throw out both of them to actually kill anything impactful, and even then the Garen is going to survive thanks to that regen.
Yeah, and we see, I mean, just already starting to kind of surmount on the side of Random here, some card advantage over the side of 7X. And yeah, I mean, again, I just we're at 5 health. I can't tell you how many times this continues to happen with this deck. Just the fluctuation of going down to 1 health, up to 20 health. You're really always living on the edge. So there's one positive thing about Spooky Karma. Spooky Karma players live life on the edge, all right? They're willing to go down to that 1, 2, 3 health before they really rev it into gear and go ahead and take the game away. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what Random decides to do here. It's looking like he's going to decide to go with the Karma 1 turn right before it's going to get Enlightened. Ooh. That sucks. That sucks.
There's a fair amount of misses in this deck, to be fair. You built it a little bit greedily. Let me actually find this deck list. Saying so, Johnny, that one, or do you want to get that out of here? There are 3 Greenglade Elder, 2 Windfarer Hatchling, 1 Deny, and 2 Will of Ionia for 8 Ionia cards in total. Generally, we see 6 as sort of the cap for what everybody is willing to play in terms of I will hit my allegiance more often than not. So has built the deck a little greedy, gets punished for it here.
Yeah, and we see the relentless pursuit there. I mean, I think... I don't think there's a way that he wins with that Bannerman not having hit. Does that sound right?
No, I think... I mean, so Ranger's Resolve is still the big card for this matchup, especially with the Withering Wail and how effectively it counters it.
Okay, I think you... Do you just block with the Garen? Do you get punished by anything? He doesn't have...
The box doesn't hit it. The box is really... like I think ideally 7xBane goes to block with the Bannerman, and then you get to box it. But here, there's nothing that can kill this Garen.
And it will then it'll level up, too.
The other thing is that this Karma on Random's field is his last Karma. But Random gets to go for Mist's Call this turn. If it hits the Karma... He has triple Karma next turn, or rather triple spells thanks to double Karma, and 3 Withering Wails, if there is no Ranger's Resolve out of 7xBane, is going to clear out everything except the Garen.
Yeah, wow, and we're going to see the leveled Garen here. I still, with how much heal is in Random's hand, I just don't think there's a way... I don't think there's a way for... Like, is he literally going to be 1 on... No, he can still play the Vile Feast this turn, but, like... Why did... It just feels so bad. Like, when you're playing against this deck, you're like, I can do it! I'm so close!
This was a randomly created Mist's Call.
Yeah, that feels really bad.
But he gets the Thresh!
Wow!
And there are no Karmas left in the deck of Random.
No, wait. Oh, my God.
We're already down 1 Rekindler as well, right? Are there only 2 Rekindlers left, and that's all the Karmas Random has available to him?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Granted, 7xBane's not looking so hot on cards, but finds that Windfarer Hatchling. That was the Ionia card. That's why we missed our Allegiance, and I don't think that's enough for lethal. There's a Grass That's going to kill that. We can throw out a Vile Feast. We got a couple blockers. We're kind of chilling, honestly.
We just brought it to, like...
We're being honest with ourselves.
We brought it to such a high level. We're like, and the Windfarer comes down, and never
Unless
mind,
there's a Ranger's Resolve.
Oh.
Actually, even Ranger's Resolve doesn't do it because of the box, and I think that's why he sort of ordered this the way that he does. The Windfarer would still die to box grasp even through Ranger's Resolve, and then you still have the 2 blockers. We're chilling.
Yeah, you still have 3 Withering Wails in hand, so, I mean, He has to draw like another Withering Whale, maybe, or
7xBane is playing so many buff effects between, like for the hand specifically, between these Greenglade Elder, the Windfarer. Once your board is down to this sort of pitiful state, and the one thing that I really don't like about this Greenglade Elder is that it's not a phenomenal buff target. Like, it's not mana efficient. It's just a 1/1. It's going to take a couple of buffs before it even feels like a unit, and it's just not going to do anything. This Emerald Awakener is probably just the end of this game.
Yeah. And wow, and insult to injury, we see Bannerman miss again. What is this deck? Jesus Christ.
Hey, we don't have to watch it again, baby.
All right, guys, that's the end. That's the Spooky Karma. It's taking the win. I just hope this doesn't.
Disregarding everything else, that 6/6 is just too difficult for Bane to deal with.
Oh man, this is I am still trying to figure out the use of Greenglade Elder.
We haven't seen it do much.
Like, I want to see, I hope he recorded his games. I want to see a recorded game that Greenglade Elder actually won you the game. Like,
sorry, you think 7xBane wasn't streaming but still recorded his games for us?
Hey, you never know.
Here's that Rangers resolve I mentioned, getting value, surviving. It's out here living, big chilling.
It's doing stuff. It's saving those 1/1 Greenglade Elders like a boss. Oh my god, man.
Yeah, you don't need Karma when you got Emerald Awakener. That's the backup plan.
Yeah, who needs Karma when you have, just casual 6/6 with lifesteal? All right, that's a card.
There's the Purify. It doesn't do much
Now,
in terms of turning the game around, although... I mean, Cytherea the Bold now is uncontested in terms of stats, though will still die after getting blocked by the Thresh. I mean, does Bane have enough time to... Oh, man.
What is this card? Why is this card a thing? Oh, no.
That better be a good unit. Show me the 17/17 Windfarer hatchling that you've been hiding from us.
Oh, my God.
I don't even know if that one whiffed.
Oh, my God. This is terrible. This is terrible. All right.
And now, I mean, there's another Emerald Awakener. He has a missed call for his Silenced Awakener. He could grasp missed call his Silenced Awakener.
Actually, yeah.
And that would be lethal, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. He gets... Wait.
He doesn't need to.
No, but...
By any stretch of the imagination. He can just win this in 2 turns.
I mean, I would have liked to see that, though. We like efficiency here in this cast, okay?
He saw all 3 Bannermen and all 3 Greenglade Elder. Isn't that like your dream scenario versus a deck with this much damage-based removal?
I mean, yeah, but you want the Greenglade Elders.
You definitely saw him at bad times, but
you want him like
turn 3. These are some nothing top decks coming out of 7xBane. There's the Vile Feast to finish that one up, and now that should just be lethal for Random 7. There's nothing that 7xBane's gonna be able to do to stop this one. And we see he's winking at me very seductively. I've been distracted. Emote meta. It's overwhelmed me.
Oh my god. And Random 7HS gonna go ahead and take game 2 with the Spooky Karma, and more importantly, gets a win with the Spooky Karma. So that means we don't have to watch the Spooky Karma deck anymore. So now we get to see. Unfortunately, we already saw the Swain Sejuani win, so that's out of the question. But we get to see this Windfarer deck again, and possibly in a mirror match against this Fiora Garen deck.
Is it a mirror match?
I mean,
it's as close to a mirror. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so what we have left are 2 almost mirror matches of Random's pretty much Mono Demacia Bannerman of old versus this Greenglade Elder Windfarer deck with just Garen. And then we have Sea Monsters with Shadow Isle versus Sea Monsters with Piltover and Zon. So
7X was like, I'm done. I played Spooky Karma. I'm done. I quit. You can have it.
Actually, yeah, that was actually played out so quickly. We didn't see a Spooky Karma potty break from either player after either game.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, usually, dude, you need a potty break, a nap, a meal. Like, you need the whole 9 with that. Oh, man.
All right, we get to see the Deep Mirror. Turbo Deep versus Shadow Isle Deep.
Whoa. Now, is this a mirror?
I mean, they play all the same Shadow Isle, or God, Shadow Isle, all the same Bilgewater cards, right?
Minus the Twisted Fate, I believe so.
Yeah, Twisted Fate's the one difference, but outside of that,
they both play a Shipwreck. So there's that. There is only 2 Abyssal Eye on the side of 7X, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think that card is amazing.
That's like become the standard to an extent. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is what we are seeing a lot more often.
I don't like it.
I don't know if it's more often than not. I think 3 Abyssal is still the standard, but it's not like the first time we've seen someone go down to 2 Abyssal Eye.
And very importantly, might I add, 7xBane is not playing Lure of the Depths, and Random is playing Lure of the Depths. So
does that give you an edge in the mirror? Because I don't think we've seen it play out that way previously.
Well, we're going to figure out here in a second, because we have one in the first hand. We are seeing the Dream, turn 3, and it's going to get a Devourer. So we're going to have a turn 5 Devourer, but not a turn 4 Abyssal Eye, which would have felt pretty damn good right about now. Unless 7X, I mean, 7X is playing Grass, so he could have had a Grass to answer that. Oh, actually, sorry, never mind. I didn't even realize it was in his hand. We have a turn 4 Abyssal Eye, so do we have the Grasp on the side of 7X to return the favor and get rid of this Abyssal Eye here? If not, we're going to see some draw power, and this Lure might pay off.
Look, you can throw this Bilgewater, or not this Bilgewater, this Piltover Zon, Shadow Isle nonsense to the side. Whoever gets down the Abyssal Eye and runs that train home is the winner in my eyes. That's who I want to see picking up the win, is my boy Abyssal Eye. I don't care about these players. Random 7, 7xBane, you can take your 7 title and throw it to the wayside. Here we see Riptide.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Is that in the deck? That's in the deck.
Yeah.
That's a one of.
We've seen that before.
I don't know. It's always surprising when it comes out when there's not a Nautilus on the field. I have to kind of do like a double take, like, whoa, what just happened? All right, and we see it is going to go over the attack token, going back over to 7X here. We'll see if one of the Devourers comes out. I don't think this is a good Devourer. Like, do you use a Devourer here? Like, do you try to be the aggressor in the mirror match?
I don't think you can versus the Shadow Isle version. 7xBane has so much healing in this deck. And I don't think tempoing out one of these is that good. I think you're fine just kind of taking the blocks, especially because 7xBane, if he wants to attack with these Dead Bloom Wanderers, you're just putting him back up to 20. Like, he's already at 20. He's not actually taking advantage of the lifesteal. You know, you trade off your Jaw Hunters and your Chempunk Pickpocket. You don't feel so bad about that. You just throw down another Abyssal Eye, baby. We riding this elusive train back to Value Town.
We're on the hype train earlier. Now we're on the elusive train. And yeah, I got to agree with you, man. You know, there's no way. Or actually, all right, I was going to say there's no way, but 7X actually is playing a 1 of Ruination. So this is something that Random does have to be careful about. He doesn't have access to the Ruination. He's going a little wide here. We wouldn't see it until next turn at the earliest. Here we go.
So shit, with the notepad that you've been using to keep track of what was tossed, has the Ruination been tossed yet out of 7xBane?
You know, the weather in Rhode Island has just been pretty nice today. You know, we went to the beach yesterday.
What's that got to do with the price of bread?
Wait, huh? What? China?
I thought you said we were keeping this apolitical.
Oh, man. So we get the 2 elusive attacks. I imagine these will go through unless we do finally see a Grasp. He clearly didn't have it before, so he would have had to have drawn it in the last couple of turns, 7X. And if he doesn't have it, that is bad. That is bad.
I'm a little curious about the fact that 7 is holding back this Jaw Hunters, not wanting to, you know, kill. Because you could have killed the Dead Bloom Wanderer all the way to the left. That invalidates the lifesteal. I guess he's going for a higher priority target on it. I'm a little concerned about the value it's going to be able to generate because Bane is playing a couple copies of Withering Wail. If you wait too long to get value out of this, it's never actually going to come. And that's really the only great use of Wail in a matchup like this.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. We'll see what 7X does decide to do on this turn in this battle of the 7s. We see the Maokai come out, and that is something that I feel like we always gloss over Maokai in almost every matchup where Maokai...
We mentioned that, like, that's a win condition, and we'll ignore it until it's a win condition.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, by the way, Maokai wins the game. So it's like, Random is in the lead very securely, but like, oh, okay, never mind. Maokai, he leveled, so now he auto-wins. So it's, we'll see if this Maokai is able to get leveled here. We see the turn 7 Nautilus before going deep. Does this send him deep? We'll see in a second. And that's a big no-go. So we'll see. We'll see if the Devourer is going to be able to kill the Maokai here. That would be pretty big, I think.
I don't think there's anything with 1 mana to stop that. I think this 1 mana is going to be a jettison. Turn the turn the Nautilus on. Maybe throw down nothing. There's no without any Lore of the Depths in the deck. There are no 0 mana sea monsters except for the Beast Below, which is not in the main deck, and we haven't seen any Jaw Hunters out of 7xBane just yet. So that one's off the table. And where's this sapling going? I mean, you can kill the Chempunk. You can push a little bit of damage onto one of these Abyssal Eyes, but how much does that actually matter?
Well, that's what I was going to say, right? Because next turn, Random can open attack with the 2 elusives to avoid something like a Ruination. And the thing is, 7X has already shown that he doesn't have Grasp. So unless he top-decked it, like, he needs a Grasp or a Withering to be able to actually survive. Actually, sorry, these Dead Blooms are going to heal him up. So I take that back. So the open attack doesn't really matter. So yeah, I got to agree with you. This Sapling, getting the damage onto the Abyssal Eye... Maybe he's setting it up for a Withering Wail plus Grasp if he eventually pulls out a Withering Wail here.
So shit, did you I know that you've been keeping track of the tosses. How many atrocities were tossed? Because if we don't see a block onto this Nautilus and we see Jettison come out, that's just gonna be potentially the ball game here.
Yeah, no, the atrocity wasn't it wasn't tossed. Chat. Anybody?
Well, there's the Jettison. That means the Nautilus is coming in for 13. There's 1 atrocity, but there are 2 in the deck.
Yeah.
There's the other one in his hand.
7X actually, hold on. Let me check. Well, Turbo Deep can't play atrocity. I think, is 7X one of the few deep decks we've actually seen 2 copies of atrocity all day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was the only one, and it seems to have worked out for him.
If you guys are wondering why he didn't block the Nautilus, I don't know. This Jaw Hunters has just been sitting here for so long. I feel like I would have been fine throwing that in front of the Nautilus.
Is he trying to go for game next turn? I mean, you do have 12... You have 19 exact game if you pull the Nautilus with the Jaw Hunters.
Guess that's what he was going for. Willing to risk this one. Is there an atrocity?
I think he's trying to high roll. He's thinking his opponent doesn't have... Okay, there it is.
No, there it is, yep. I don't think you ever attack with the Nautilus unless you have the atrocity.
Did he just top deck that, though?
You're the hand tracker. I'm the guy keeping track of the tosses. I smartly told you that Ruination was tossed away and that there was 1 atrocity that was very likely in the hand. Keep up, shit.
Are you actually keeping track right now?
No. I forgot. I don't know who to keep track of. They're both tossing.
Dude, you should have lied to me. I would have believed you. I would have been like, God damn, I'm slacking. I got to up my game. So, wow, 7X, yeah, taking it away with the atrocity. I do think that came from the left. So I want to say he top decked it, but I mean, he could have had one in his hand. Wild. Yeah, yeah.
Like, that felt like a pretty telegraphed atrocity play.
Well, did it though? Because he could have just blocked. Like, Random could have just blocked.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an extremely telegraphed jettison. And I'm actually just really, I guess because like Random didn't block it, looked like, oh, the atrocity's very, very obvious here. I'm very smart, but like, why didn't you just block it? I guess Random just didn't respect the atrocity, not expect it, but didn't respect it.
All right, well, we start off with the Dredgers here with this Turbo Deep going up against God. Can we see if this Windfarer Bannerman gets a win here? Can we see a Green Glade? I just want to see a Green Glade Elder turn 3, followed by a Grizzled Ranger turn 4. That's all I want to see. And if that goes well, great.
Like an hour ago when I said this Green Glade deck was probably going to get 3-0'd?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, why is it taking so long, man? We've already played 3 games, or we've played 2 games. This is game 3. This should have been the 3-0 already. Why are you wasting my time, Bane?
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I mean, so far he's curving out decently. He's got the Fleet Feather. He's got the Loren. I mean, unfortunately, it didn't seem like he drew into a 2-drop. Instead,
there's one of the the 3 Rangers resolved. They don't get a whole lot of value in a.
This is pretty good
in
though.
A typical deep matchup. I mean, like, there are some narrow combat spaces where you can actually take advantage of it, but against the Piltover and Zon version, I feel like there's a lot less than there is against the Shadow Isle version. So finding the value where he can, doesn't hesitate to fire that one off, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's probably one of the better trades he's going to be able to get, saving any unit, really. The Rent obviously being Challenger, even better to save. But being able to maintain going that wide early on is going to be crucial for 7xBane to actually take away an early win here, which is exactly what he's going to need to do against something like Deep, being aggressive in these early turns.
I'm like trying to keep track of what is tossed, but I don't know what I'm actually keeping track for. Like I'm not keeping track of a Maokai. There aren't any like blowout atrocities that I'm looking for here.
Oh
I
boy.
don't. I'm waiting to see like if I like track what random is tossing. When does that actually come up?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. We see the salvage come out. We don't need lure of the deep. Right, just get rid of those lures. Get them out of there. That's one of the best tosses I've seen all day. Devourer 2 in hand, actually. We get the Zaunite here as well to go ahead and just do what Turbo Deep does best and go deep just that much faster, which it's going to have to do versus a board like this from 7X with this Garen early. Jettison, a great pickup.
Is this just double jettison into Devour? Is that a play that we have available to us?
I want to say yeah, and that's going to kill that Garen, which is pretty big here.
He hovered it too fast.
Wow.
It looks like that is going to be the play.
Yep.
And as we had mentioned, 100 times, that we'll mention 100 times again, no combat tricks for 7xBane, no single combat, no concerted strike, no way to protect the Garen.
Yep, and bye-bye Garen. That's going to feel really bad, and now all of a sudden, yeah, I mean, turn 6 deep, Turbo Deep, doing the... Ooh, okay. That is huge. Will of Ionia onto the Devourer to save the Garen for this turn. I mean, it's going to come down again, but this will be one hell of a swing turn.
Honestly, the Green Glade Caretaker like throws me for a loop every time I look at this deck list that I never move my eyes right to the spells and see the Deny and Will of Ionias.
Yeah, yep.
I forget. I get so caught up looking at these Ionia buff cards.
Elder. It's Elder. It's Elder Boulevard. Elder!
Well, Elder and Windfarer, actually.
No, you said Caretaker.
Oh, man.
Which is, I mean, there's a Green Glade Caretaker, so it is what it is. Wow, yeah, and I will say this is the first time, because we saw BBG playing the Turbo Deep as well earlier today.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time we've actually seen this deep deck, Turbo Deep deck, I should say, go deep faster than the usual deep decks. Because it did go deep turn 6 here.
The deep decks have, like the Shadow Isle versions of the deep decks have a pretty good shot at going deep on 6, especially if you get the Maokai on 4 and it sits there sort of unbecumbered. Mm-hmm. Instead, we're going to see a second stop onto this Garen.
Yeah.
And there's enough challengers, actually, to just say the Garen can go ahead and hit face. That's 3 challengers for the 3 units. That's going to go ahead and work out for Bane. And if he buffs up the Garen with the War Chef, and then Garen hits face, that means that it's a 7/7 Garen and actually can't get hit by Devourer this turn. But not going to be the case.
Yeah, that would have... I don't know if that would have actually helped long-term for his path to victory here. Do you ever... Is there a reason why you pull the Devourer with the Laurent as opposed to the Bird and just buff the Laurent because it's technically a heal?
I don't know. These attacks out of 7xBane are confusing me a little bit.
Huh. Just seems a little... I don't know. It just seems a little weird. I think you'd rather save the Laurent. I mean, yeah, the Fleet Feather has more attack, so you're getting an additional point of damage through, but yeah. And yeah, it looks like he's going to go ahead and get excited the Fleet Feather anyways.
I mean, everything on the board except Garen had the same amount of attack.
Yeah, yep. Garen does level. So is there... Yeah, so there's actually no way for him to save this Garen next turn. Well, he could have another Will.
Second Will of Ionia, or just slam down another Garen.
Except the Will, so the Will doesn't actually save it, though, right? Because he'll just play it again before his
he'll just play it again
turn.
next turn, yeah. I mean, you would get the attack token on the next turn because you have a leveled Garen out there.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yep. So, just gonna throw this out there again. There was no Green Glade Elder played in this game. And I don't, and we've seen it played before. I don't really think it matters if it's played or not played. I think the card is just bad.
We haven't seen it be very impactful when it is played, and it is such an oppressively bad game-losing top deck.
Yeah.
That I don't think you can justify it.
Oh, yeah.
Windfarer Hatchling, at the very least, represents a 7-mana 4/2 elusive. Mm-hmm. Even if you have no other board, if you're just in a top deck war, it can at least try and close out a game. Even if you had 2 units in hand and you top deck the Elder here, it still doesn't feel that impactful.
Yeah, and we're going to see a 13-13 Nautilus attack. Now, do you take this to the face, Boulevard? Because Random...
That would kill you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because Random thought that it was a good idea to take a Nautilus attack to the face. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just the new thing, and we're just not privy to it yet.
And there's a third Devourer of the Depths. That's about as good as they get, shit.
Well, the bright side,
Devour.
7X actually hit a Bannerman.
There's the fourth Devourer of the Depths, shit. That is about as good as it gets.
Yep. Yep, that's going to be good game. Bye-bye to Lorette. We're going to see an attack. Probably not even attack. There's no reason
Yeah, we're probably going to see the second one say bye-bye to the War Chef, and then the open attack should just be lethal. Gonna go ahead and fire off this salvage, see what we can get. It's another Nautilus and an Abyssal Eye. That's definitely lethal.
Seems okay.
Get that Zonite Urchin out of here. We don't need that.
I've heard this Riptide card is, like, okay when Nautilus is on the field.
You said this Riptide card, and I was like, ah, yes, Riptide Rex. Where do you see a Riptide Rex?
It's in there somewhere. It's the new thing. Deep sea monsters with Riptide Rex. Come on. And this should go ahead and give him game here, even if he blocks. Is it 7? Yeah, so I don't imagine 7X will have something to kill any of the other units on the board. He would have to kill...
Second Will of Ionia is the only thing that saves him, and he doesn't have it. So Random going to move up. Is that 2-1?
No, Random is tying it 2-2. We're going into game 5.
Oh, is that 2-2?
Game 5. See, thank God I'm actually updating the match score now. We'd be screwed.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if anybody would know what's going on. We're hitting almost hour 8 here. We're getting a little crazy.
We're going down. You'd ask me how I would feel about this. Here we have Grand Finals, Game 5, Bannerman Mirror.
Well, okay, listen. It could be worse. Would you rather have a Spooky Karma Mirror in Game 5 of the finals?
No. I answered this question. I said Bannerman.
Exactly. So not only would we rather have a Bannerman meta, we'd rather have a Bannerman finals, and we have it. And from our recent games that we've casted, I do not believe that the Greenglade Elder gives 7X any sort of real advantage over the mirror match. I think it's actually a disadvantage to throw it out on turn 3. You actually lose tempo playing the 1-1, and we'll see if that's the case here in this game.
I'm trying to puzzle this one out because with so many buffs on the side of 7xBane, the single combats might actually play against Random. If 7xBane can get his units to a point where they're just significantly bigger than Random's, which is possible because he's so front-loaded on buff effects, maybe the single combats just don't get value. But Random has found both his copies of Ranger's Resolve is actually really overloaded on spells right now. And 7xBane passes the first 2 turns to get down the Dream Greenglade Elder. If there was ever a time for it to come up, it is here on curve in the finals. Badger Bear?
Oh, wait, no, there is no Badger Bear. It's just Grizzled Rager. Never mind.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, wait.
Passing 1-2 into double Greenglade Elder. If there's ever a time to impress us, this is it, Greenglade Elder. Show me your stuff. What do you have available? Give me that 7/7 Garen.
This is it. This is the time to shine, Greenglade Elder. Do your thing. Prove us wrong with how... Wow, that's a big Swiftwing Challenger.
It's not Garen, but it's going to get the job done. That's a big boy.
And you basically shut off... Like, Random could attack, but it's all going to be crap trades now. So you basically shut off his attack. And it looks like he is going to go ahead and still try to send through the full attack. So now what do you block with the Swiftwing?
Probably the War Chef. I think that is sort of the most threatening thing on the board currently. And then, I mean, you can throw these Greenglades under the bus. It looks like the fact that he's like contemplating taking as much damage as possible leads me to believe that he's got a Bannerman or a Genevieve coming out on the following turn. But that's the problem that I have with the Elders is you really rely on what comes in your hand after the fact. These 1/1s and 2/2s don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They're going to get a couple of chump blocks down here. But with everything being buffed up as it is, like, you're not going to find a unit in your hand that was struggling to kill a Cythria or a Bannerman. The damage that you have pushed onto them feels irrelevant.
Yeah, and we see, okay, that is also a big-ass Genevieve. That is, oh my god. Awesome to see some of these big units come out, but, again, I gotta see if... this is actually going to make a difference with these Greenglade Elders here. Right now, we have some hella big units on the field, but are they actually going to be able to take the game away from Random 7HS?
back-to-back coming out. And, you know, we could see a Ranger's Resolve out of 7xBane. That's sort of the one punish for something like this. And he does have 3 copies, and he does have Ranger's Resolve. He's going to get to pick apart the board of Random pretty effectively this turn. We might have to see sort of an awkward single combat come out in order to help Random stabilize the board. Look, we said one Elder sucked. I didn't expect my grandparents sitting together on the front porch rocking one out.
Oh my god.
It's a team effort.
Oh, it's definitely a team effort, trust me. And the single combat coming out to go ahead and wreck the plans of this Swiftwing Lancer here. Not going to be able to effectively trade with this Badger Bear. So now we got to wonder what else does 7X have in his hand that's going to actually be able to, you know, that has those buffs on it from the previous Green Glade Elders, because we've already seen, I think, 2 cards, right?
I feel like we are consistently seeing 7xBane play like large singular units in what feels like a build that was meant to go wide.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh, Brightsteel Protector's pretty big. That is going to dissuade the attacks out of Random pretty much full stop.
Yeah, and that's 2 turns now. I mean, I don't know. Random might still go ahead and decide to attack, because we thought, or at least I thought anyways, that big, huge Swiftwing Lancer was going to shut down a previous attack, and he still opted to go for it. I will say that War Chefs probably is going to turn off the attack now, having more units on the field, and okay. He got a
that was randomly created by the Swiftwing Lancer.
Yep, that's the thing.
I like that card. I don't love it, but I like it.
Well, we'll
Here's Bannerman. Is it going to whiff? Okay, didn't whiff this time. Used up all his bad luck a little bit earlier. Is going to get a massive buff down onto his own board.
Oh, and yeah, wow, that is going to be a big turn of Genevieve. Listen, if this comes out, we've been giving this Green Glade Elder crap all day. He
deserved it.
It did deserve it, but if this literally comes down to the finals is when this card actually does work and just wins the game for 7X, that's just going to be... I will be amazed. I will actually be amazed.
I mean, you don't get to, like, suck 5 games in a row and then finally pull out, like, oh, here's my highlight moment. This is going to make the Reddit reel for sure when I win Duels of Runeterra. No, you worked out 20% of the time, and it took 2 of you.
Oh my god.
That's still like, this is not the new standard for Bannerman by any stretch of the imagination, but things are not looking good for Random7HS, who might not be able to join that prestigious club of back-to-back Duels of Runeterra champions. 7xBane giving him a run for his money, has an extremely big board, has the card advantage, not the life advantage, but Random has really stumbled on his draws this game, got overloaded on spells, didn't have the early aggression necessary to punish 7xBane for passing the first few turns and then throwing out double Elder, and the cards are just not lining up for Random right now.
Wow, this is one big board on the side of 7X. We are going to see the Fiora come down, but I don't think Fiora is really going to be able to do it for Random here. He has a Fury of the North to potentially trade with something decent. It's going to be close, though. I mean, this Genevieve helps, as well as these Rangers Resolve. So he has to, like, 100% make sure that he gets some really good trades here. He could definitely do it with the Genevieve. Looks like he's going to go for the War Chefs first. Going to do, you know, the Rangers Resolve, like I just mentioned. What do you pull next with the Genevieve?
I'm sitting here trying to, like, eyeball the amount of value that we're getting here with this Rangers Resolve. Like, can we actually clear out most of the board and hang on to a lot of ours?
Well, you can clear either the Green Fang or the Grizzled Ranger with another Genevieve and still keep your Genevieve. But, and then you could still kill their Genevieve with one of the Challenger units that you have, right? Wow, that's a 5/3 Grizzled Ranger, too.
Yeah, I mean, so you take out... That goes on to the 3/3. Fiora goes on to the Bannerman. Do you attack with anything else? Or do you I mean, I would assume that you can attack with a couple of these, although none of them hit the sort of critical breakpoint of that Brightsteel Protector, so maybe you do hold them back.
All right, so yeah, it's looking like we're going to Suicide the Laurent. We're still going to... yeah, we are going to save the Genevieve by taking the Green Fang. And we're going to go ahead and trade pretty evenly here with the Bannerman. And yeah, I think this was a really good turn. on the side of Random. He keeps a much wider board than 7X, and now suddenly this is turned around depending on if 7X is able to get a big beefy unit down on the field here. And another Genevieve from Random might be enough to put it away. And another Genevieve from 7X. Jesus.
So this is just the Genevieve war, but Random has managed to retake the board, at least for the time being. But 7xBane has 2 Grizzled Rangers and honestly has a really big scout attack here. That Bright Steel Protector's pretty big here.
Wow, that's an absolutely nuts. Wow. So he's going to get a ton of trades here. The problem is, we know that Random has another Genevieve. So, like, I'm very curious to see. I don't have that kind of forethought to play out this turn, like 3 turns later in my head, because we know it's just going to be a lot of trading back and forth. So
it comes down to top decks as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said the big beefy units, right? Like, I was like, all right, let's see who can top the Cythria or the Genevieve. Well, we have 2 Genevieves, so now it's going to be who can top the next big beefy unit. We'll see if we have another Cythria or Genevieve that's come down. Has everybody used all their Genevieves or no?
I want to say this is number 2 for everybody.
All right, and then there's 2 Cythria on the side of 7X, and there's 2 Cythria on the side of Random as well. Because that's what's needed right now.
I mean, the Cythria could blow the board wide open for either player.
Yep.
They're down to a few cards. They both have 5 units on board. Boards are pretty much even. 7xBane having the attack token does mean he gets to continue to aggress with this Genevieve in an impactful way. Probably going to try and take out the Fiora here. Actually, I think taking out one of the Badger Bears is probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
The Fiora only has 2 HP. It's not actually going to trade into anything effectively from this point on. We're really not going for a Fiora win condition this game.
Yeah, I don't think you're worried about it. I mean, even with the Fury of the North that we know is in hand, I just don't think it's going to happen. You'll get 1 more kill with the Fury, and then maybe a 3rd with the Rangers Resolve, but that's pushing it.
So 7xBane saying, I don't actually fear a Genevieve block onto my Grizzled Ranger. If you want to put your Genevieve at 1 HP and make it so that she can't get value off of 2 trades, I'm totally fine with that, especially since I will have the Badger Bear popping out of it still.
Yep.
Looks like Random is really considering, you know, do I want to block this? Do I want to do something with his Fury of the North? And he could Fury next turn and take out both the Bright Steel Protector and the Genevieve from 7xBane. And then I don't think he has the board. You'll be left with 2 Badger Bears and a Bright Steel Protector for 7xBane. My cat just came up and started slapping my desk.
Hey, it sounds like a cat. That sounds like what cats do. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, now 7xBane looks to be very clearly in the lead here. I mean, we still have... Okay, that's a card. That just happened.
That's not lethal, though. That's 6 damage.
No, but that means he gets rid of the Genevieve on the side of Random, and because of that, that might actually be game. Yep.
He has the Rangers Resolve.
Oh, okay, yeah. That is a good point as well. And actually the Fury. He could use either or to save it there, depending on, like, if there's a single combat. Actually, the single combat by 7X would be game because
there's no single combat in 7X's deck.
He doesn't... Wait, what?
We've harped on... I've said this 100 times.
Oh,
7xBane does not play single combat or concerted strike.
Oh my god, that's right. Okay, never mind then, yeah. So, instead...
He can also Fury to kill this Bright Steel Protector if he wants to.
Which would also save the Badger Bear. And no.
But I think saving the Fiora makes a little bit more sense. It can still challenge onto the Bright Steel next turn, but it does get that +1/+1 and pivotally upgrades all future copies of Fiora.
Well, I think he could actually technically maybe go for a Fiora win condition now.
I don't think so. Not in top deck mode.
Well, because this Fiora's it's going to go down to 4 health, right? So it can definitely kill 1 more unit.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Like, if we see a Fiora top deck or a Bright Steel Protector...
That's the thing.
I was going to say another Fiora turns into a Fiora's Riposte, and, you know, on the blocks, you could just blow out your opponent. I didn't think the barrier spells were really going to be what lined up here for Random, but he actually does find one in that Bright Steel Protector. What does 7xBane have available to him to combat this?
You want to see now, and this is why the Bannerman mirror matches are more fun to cast than Spooky Karma, because now we're in top deck mode, and it's basically just like, oh my god, he top deck a Genevieve. Oh my god, he top deck a Cythria. We're not like that with Spooky Karma. it's not like, oh my god, they top deck.
Oh, there's a Cythria though.
Yep, that's a big boy or big girl, I should say.
And that actually takes the Fiora win condition off the table for a second here, because everything that 7xBane attacks with is going to have 4 attack.
Wow. And yeah, so the Fiora is going to be able to get another kill off. Random is playing single combat, so that is also an option as well with the Fiora. If that does get drawn. But the Fiora will also just be able to challenge this Brightsteel at some point as well.
Not if you... so you have to block next turn or you die.
Yep. Well,
and your Fiora will die.
Well, you can... Oh, yeah. You can block the Brightsteel with the Fiora, which basically prevents the Brightsteel from attacking, as well as the Badger Bear.
There's a Sithri on field. They're going to have 4 attacks.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so...
Oh, but he top decks the Fiora's.
Wow!
There it is. Oh, no, but he finds a hatchling. What are you talking about? 7xBane going to line that one up to the left, and he's going to steal the game away from Random 7, who gets the perfect top deck for the Fiora lethal, and it doesn't mean a thing.
We had the top deck of top decks, followed by the top deck of top deck of top decks to beat the top deck in Windfarer Hatchling. Wow, that is a card, and he's even going to throw the riposte out there to show how close that was to 7x. Wow. And oh my god, you want to talk about 2 top decks right next to each other that absolutely turn the game around. That's it right there. Woo!
And Random 7HS going to have to take that Hearthstone out of his name as he keeps topping Runeterra tournaments. Going to have to take the 7 out of his name as well and give it over to 7xBane, your Duels of Runeterra 14 North America champion.
That is right. And wow, what a finals game, everybody. That was absolutely insane what we just witnessed there from Random 7HS just topping... Oh my god, topping that repost so late there, and then 7x just like, I see your top deck repost. I raise you a top deck Windfarer Hatchling, and listen.
You can't compete.
No, we can't compete, but we gave this Greenglade Elder so much crap. All day. All day.
It deservedly.
It deserved it because it was pretty bad in like almost every aspect of the game for most of the day. But...
Yeah.
In game 5...
The fact that Random actually fought back for the board even through the Elder buffs is also kind of not a great sign for that Greenglade Elder. But it just won a Duels of Runeterra, so when you go to net deck and play on ladder and your opponent plays the Greenglade Elder, tell him 7xBane sent you.
All right, everybody. Wow, that was by far one of the best finals that I have cast in a long time. Super exciting to see the back and forth top decks there, and it come down to top decks because both players at the end of the day were incredible, making some awesome plays throughout the game. So, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. I cannot wait to cast the next Duels of Runeterra and any other tournaments that are happening in the near future. So, as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope it just works for you, and peace out.